folks. My name is Tony. I'm going to tell you a little story tonight about the journey that I've been on for the last few years. I call it a midlife crisis. But before I tell you about my middle, I'm going to tell you about my beginning. I had the best childhood. I grew up over there in Alameda. It was a really loving home where we had a lot of fun. My mom passed down to me a bullish optimism and a real joy for life. By the time I was 40, I had built up a really wonderful life for myself. I was living with a loving husband in my dream home, and I had the most wonderful group of friends. My first song tonight is Penny in My Pocket by Jerry Herman from Hello Dolly. It tells a story of financial success, but I think of this song as a celebration of building something wonderful for yourself. I had a penny in my pocket, and not another suit. And with my only short tail, I shined a rich man's shoe. He threw me down a nickel, admiring my skill. I gave the nickel to a blind man, and the blind man left me all his meager savings in his will. I bought myself a wagon for hauling blocks of ice. I cut the ice to ice cubes and got a higher price. I shaped the ice to ices for still a higher fee. A big tycoon said, very enterprising in your organizing, son, you must come work for me. En route to work next morning, I helped a lady cross. The lady was, you guessed it, the mother of the boss. The boss said, you're promoted, I need you by my side. And then I met the boss's daughter, and I wed the boss's daughter, and quite suddenly she died. I bought myself an acre, a silo and a steed. Oh, Yonkers started buying the grain that I made mean. And now I've $500,000, but proudly I confess that in my pocket is that penny, yes, that shiny little penny. It's the penny that's the secret of my success. I was having a really good time, but then a few years ago, I looked around and I felt like I didn't know myself anymore. I had been changing, and my husband had been changing, and we were changing in different directions. I looked around one day and felt like I just didn't know myself anymore. I left my husband, and I left our beautiful house, and I quit my job, and I moved out of San Francisco. I don't know if you've ever felt like you don't know yourself anymore, but for me, it was terrifying. I hated myself for blowing up my life, and hating yourself can be so lonely. Is this how I die? Ridiculed and laughed at, wearing clown shoes. Is this how I die? Furious and reckless, sick with booze. How did I live? Was I kind enough and good enough? Did I love enough? Did I ever look up and see the moon and the stars and the sky Oh, why have I been sleeping? They say we are asleep until we fall in love. We are children of dust and ashes. When we fall in love, we wake up, and we are a god, and angels weep. But if I die here tonight, I'll die in my sleep. All of my life I've been searching the words of poets and saints and prophets and kings. Now at the end all I know that I've learned is all that I know is I don't know a thing. So easy to close off, place the blame outside. Hiding in my room at night, so terrified. All the things I could have been, but I never had the nerve. Life and love I don't deserve. So alright, I've had my time. Close my eyes, let the death bells chime. Bury me in burgundy, I just don't care. Nothing's left, I've looked everywhere. Is this how I die? Was there ever any other way my life could be? Is this how I die? Such a storm of feelings inside of me. They say we are asleep until we fall in love. We are children of dust and ashes. But when we fall in love, we wake up, and we are a god, and angels weep. But if I die here tonight, I'll die in my sleep. That was Dust and Ashes by Josh Groban from The Great Comet of 1812. I can feel the loneliness of divorce when I sing that song. But then on my second year of being single, I moved down to Southern California and had a little eat, pray, love moment. I met a lot of really great new friends and just started trying to enjoy the simple pleasures again. I started figuring out who it was I was becoming, and I started to like myself again. And in the middle of that year, I found out that my father was really ill. When I called him in the hospital, we hadn't spoken in 20 years. He told me that he loved me and that he was proud of me and that he was sorry he hadn't said that in a long time. He said all the right things, and then he passed away a couple weeks later. And I was sad and I grieved. But that feeling of becoming somebody else after divorce and becoming somebody else after my father all kind of rolled into one, and instead of it holding me back, it really set me free. I looked around again about a year ago and realized that I felt strong and secure. And it wasn't because of who I was with or where I was just happy being me again. My last song is called Be the Hero, written by Andrew Lippa from the musical Big Fish. The song is sung by a father to his son, and I dedicate this to my dad, who finally let me be free. What if I told you you could change the world with just one thought? What if I told you you could be the king? Anything you desire, boy, anything on a plate, all within your power to create. I know somewhere in the darkness there's a story meant for me, where I always know exactly what to say. I know somewhere some surprising ending waits for me to tell it my own way. Be the hero of your story if you can. Be the champion in the fight, not just the man. Don't depend on other people to put paper next to pen. Be the hero of your story, boy, and then you can rise to be the hero once again. Be the hero every time you get the chance. If the music stops, continue with the dance. On a wing or on a prayer, you'll get there only with your voice. Be attentive, be inventive, be the first one to rejoice. With a story in your heart, you don't need any other choice. You're a hero fighting dragons, winning wars. Be the hero, and the world will soon be yours.
Yeah!